Dear Diary. So we're back on track in the Champions League after beating Juventus 3-0, but we're a bit disappointing prior in letting Spurs take a point off us in the league. Things continue to be hectic as we face Manchester United at home, albeit they are struggling in 15th, before heading to Aston Villa after they've got off to a hot start. There has been an issue at the club though. Only a few hours before this Man United game, the players left out of the Champions League squad told me I should leave the club as they don't support me. Reminder fellas, we're in a good position before some easier UCL games, and a joint top of the league after you scraped into the top 4 last season. So shut up your face. Seriously, if I get sacked because of Bella Blimmin' Kotchup. Until next time. Everyone and welcome to episode 83 of FMOE here on Shaun Does FM with Arsenal. I hope you are doing well, and coming up today we pick up right where we left off at the end of yesterday's episode. 2 games in the Premier League. First off, we host a struggling Manchester United, and then off the back of that take on Aston Villa away from home, who have got off to a very good start, currently in 4th on the Premier League table. So if you are looking forward to those 2 games in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and have been enjoying this series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, but we've played no games off the back of yesterday's episode where we took on both Spurs in the Premier League and Juventus in the Champions League. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. The only thing that has happened is I was forced into a team meeting and got told by a few of our players, if we go back a few items, that we've lost support from the dressing room and we should not stay at the club. Thankfully, was able to convince Grass about that, but Bella Kotchup continues to be a right pain in the butt. Might be a player because of this, which we do look to actually sell when we do get to the January transfer window. Is only rated 3-star current ability and potential, and also worth £59 million. We have now got a few more scouts who have bought players to us, a lot more than we did have in that first transfer window when we were here at the club, and seeing as he is not homegrown nation, I don't think we need to keep him, truth be told, because he's not playing too much. Obviously, not being registered for the Champions League, might be good to get rid of him for that value if we can, of £59 million, if he is going to be a right pain in the butt, because based on results, there's absolutely no reason that we should be leaving the club as of now. There you can see our results since we have come here. Just that one loss in the Champions League to the current holders in Bayern Munich, and apart from that, just that draw against Spurs, but every other result has been a win, and hopefully that can continue in today's episode, where first up we are going to take on Manchester United, and off the back of that there is an international break before we do take on Aston Villa. But Man United are struggling, as they have done over the last few seasons in the Premier League. In the save, they were predicted to finish 5th, are in 15th these days, managed by Massimiliano Allegri, so it is an interesting appointment there for Manchester United, albeit he is taking a little while to get them up to speed by the looks of it. But with this one being at home and on our recent form, hopefully we can pick up a good result here and keep ourselves right near the top end of that Premier League table. And we'll come back shortly with the team sheets for this first game of today's episode as we host Manchester United from the Emirates. And here are the team sheets for this first game of today's episode. Just a few changes from our usual best 11. Tomiyasu is still out, so Singo will start at right back, and Martinelli still very injury prone, which does mean Trincao starts at left wing. But apart from that, it is our first choice 11 there in Man United. To be fair, not the greatest looking Man United team, so I kind of get why they are struggling. They will be in the baby poo green today, it does look like, and hopefully we can pick up a good result and keep ourselves near the top of the table. And just shy of the 10-minute mark, we get our first highlight in this game. It is a throw in our favour. Tierney will play that one back to Bumba. Now Coop Miners loops this one forward down that right-hand side for Bukayo Saka. So far, a little bit hit and miss since we have taken over at Arsenal. Very good in the first game, pretty quiet for the most part since then. And now, an early chance here from that very, very harmless ball from Singo, potentially for us to get a penalty. I don't think that we were going to get a header off there because we were on the retreat, but they pushed us in the back. It's a poor decision there by the United defender. Looks like it was Nathan Patterson, and it does give now Jesus these days on penalties a chance to put this one away. Henderson comes up with a very good save. Of course, we did take Coop Miners off of the back of that shocker he did have against Bayern at the end of last week, but maybe we need to get him back on because he has actually scored domestically since then. And Jesus with his first one has missed it, but 10 minutes in, a big chance blown, still 0-0. And 20 minutes into this one, I think we are going to adjust our penalty takers. They should be doing a better job to be fair, but Coop Miners is rated the best, so I think we'll just sort this order out. So hopefully we can put some more of those away if we do get the chance for the rest of the season, because so far, been a little bit iffy from that penalty spot. And with 15 minutes to go in this first half, we do get our next highlight of this one. It is a free kick in our favour just inside of the opposition half. Saliba gets that one back from Coop Miners, but hopefully that early penalty miss does not come back and bite us. Good work there though from Saka to get in behind his man, tucks that one away top left corner, and maybe he will be on his game today. As I said earlier, has been pretty hit or miss so far, and to be fair, only on a 6.4 so far in this one, but a good finish. Good work there to just shrug off his man, gets him behind, opens up his body, puts it away in that top left corner, gets him behind Bessie it was, and we take a 1-0 lead, about 10 minutes shy of half-time. And that is half-time in this first game of today's episode. We take a 1-0 lead into the sheds. It should probably be 2-0, but to be fair, Henderson did come up with a good save from that Jesus penalty, but apart from that, things are going well. Jesus is only on a 6.3, but to be fair, I think that is largely due to that penalty, which did get saved, so we're going to leave him out there for now. We'll just adjust some of these opposition instructions, and hopefully we can continue to score in the second half and bring home 3 more points. We'll get things back underway with that 1-0 lead. And about 5 minutes into the second half, we get our first highlight of it. Yet again, we are in possession inside of the opposition half, so far we have looked to be the more dominant team in this game. Hopefully it does continue throughout the second half. Now Singo inside the box will square that one for Jesus. He gets brought down from behind from Lopez, who already is on a yellow card. We are going to wait here though for a VAR check, and hopefully with Coop Miners now on penalties, he can redeem himself from the exact same end where he did try and chip one down the middle against Bayern at the end of last week. Coop Miners will step up, and would you believe it, Henderson has saved another one. Oh, I hope this isn't going to cost us. Parade there also places one over the bar, but penalties are really hurting us so far in this game. We've now missed 2, but are still 1-0 up, just shy of the hour mark, and now we do have the ball here inside of the final third. Try and pick out Odegaard there inside of the box, but United clear that one away straight into the path of Bumba, and now we find Singo again in some space down that right hand side. He finds Trincao on the left, he puts it away, and maybe we don't need penalties at all because Manchester United look like they are absolutely rubbish in this one, giving away penalties, but thankfully for them, we have not put them away. But we are also scoring goals from open play. Singo there, nice ball for Trincao, and this time we do beat Henderson, just a bit too much of an angle there for him to try and close that one out. And while we are here, we'll make some substitutions as well. Kieran Tierney down to a red heart, so Zinchenko will come on for him. We've got Jesus still not improving on a 6.3, so Balea can come on for him, and also Coop Miners did just miss a penalty before that second goal, so I think we'll take him off as well and bring on Ugarte, who did quite well in that Brighton game at the end of last week. He can come on as well with a half hour left off the back of us going 2-0 up. And not off the back of that second goal, it is a goal kick there to Man United, and they do actually win the ball back here, so might get a chance to do something for really the first time so far that we have seen in this game. Hopefully those 2 missed penalties so far are not going to cost us, because it does look like we are just a bit shaky from the penalty spot here at Arsenal, and they are looking to build up here, Man United, albeit good work there from Parade to get that ball off of Okafor. We play this one now into the middle of Ugarte to Berea. Saka Singo out there in a lot of space down that right-hand side, starts to make his way towards the byline, plays that one in for Ugarte, who does quite well there to get in behind his man. Inside the box, tries to dribble that one to the left, gets brought down, and I think we might be getting our third penalty of this game. Hopefully this time We do put it away, albeit will be a different penalty taker yet again this time, Francisco Trincao, but surely this will be the one that puts it to bed and also make sure we do score one from the spot. And Dean Henderson is having an absolute blinder. FM just does not want us to score from the penalty spot in this game. Thankfully, Man United have been pretty woeful in general play as well. Singo actually gets his head on the end of that one. In fact, it was Lopez, so it goes out for another corner. But somehow, we've had 3 penalties in this game and have scored none of them. Can't quite believe that, but they eventually deal with that corner, albeit Odegaard does have the ball outside the box, but gives that one away to Griffiths. And Man United here do get a chance to do something on the counter-attack, but they won't. Still, only 2-0 somehow with just under 20 minutes left. And now a clearance there from Man United. Odegaard nearly gets that one back. Now Okafor does have the ball, and they might get a chance here on this one. Good slide tackle that, though, from Zinchenko, albeit not helped out, but he eventually does get the ball back himself in the end. So good work there from our left back off of the bench. And now Saka on the ball as we do progress that forward fairly quickly. Will we find Singo again in space down that right-hand side? He has played very well today. Now finds Ugarte back out there to Singo. Plays the ball forward here for Saka. Will square that one for Manuel Balea, who will score his first goal for the club in a competitive game. It doesn't look like those missed penalties are going to haunt us too much. The only thing it might have done is give us a chance at a 7-0 win, because we all know Man United do like to concede that amount of goals these days, but Saka plays that one in for Barea, and thankfully it looks like this one is well and truly over now eventually. 3-0 with around about 15 minutes left, and while we are here, we'll make our last couple of substitutions. 2 players on red hearts. Grass will come on for Singo at right back, and we will bring on Fabio Carvalho, I think, at left wing, because he is the player in need of the game time a little bit more than those other attacking options off the back of us going 3-0 up. And we've got a late highlight in this one. It is Man United here with the ball. Pinamonti there did just lose out briefly to Pere, but they do get it back, and now Gravenberch plays this one forward for Okafor, but thankfully Zinchenko is going to tidy this one up. Plays that one for Saliba, but it's a poor pass. Pinamonti will beat Ramsdale, although to be fair, it is only a consolation goal, but Pinamonti continues to be a bit of a thorn in our side here so far in this save. He's definitely looked the more attacking of the Man United players each of the times that we have played them, especially at Cardiff in the air, but that is a bit of a giveaway, that one. Zinchenko and Saliba not quite linking up there, a bit of an average pass, and Man United do get on the score sheet, but to be fair, it is only a consolation goal. We should have won that one a lot more comfortably with 3 missed penalties, would you believe it, but thankfully we also scored 3 from open play. That late goal that we did concede doesn't hurt us too much, but Man United's defence, especially down that right-hand side, was very, very poor, and we pick up a decent 3-1 win there. Certainly could have been better with those penalties, which were saved by Henderson, no doubt. He got a very good rating from that game, but despite that, we pick up a nice victory over one of our rivals, and that should mean we stay up there near the top of the Premier League table for now. We'll just get past this post-match interview and see what that does do for the table itself. And we eventually get there, and we are now 3 points clear of both City and Liverpool. Aston Villa do though have a game in hand, so could catch us up before we do take them on in the second game of today's episode. We'll come back shortly and check in on any injuries off the back of the international break before probably the tougher game in today's episode as we travel to take on a high-flying Aston Villa. And we've gone forward around about 2 weeks off the back of that pretty interesting win there over Manchester United, with 3 penalties being saved by Henderson. Not really too sure now what to do about penalty takers. I think we'll just leave things, because obviously it's not helping us out too much when we do try and change those. But we are about to take on Aston Villa in the second game of today's episode. They are in 4th. They did not pick up points in that game in hand, so they are still down there in 4th position. A good chance for us here to grab a break on top of that Premier League table, but it's going to be interesting as we do take on Roberto De Zerbi's men. Of course, he did leave Stoke City in one of the first seasons where we did get up to the Premier League from Cardiff to join Aston Villa, and has done a decent job with them since. Obviously playing fairly well, albeit have lost games to Newcastle and Leicester in the Premier League recently, and also somehow lost to Cardiff in the EFL Cup, albeit no doubt they probably put out a bit of a rotated team in that one. That is one of the few games Mikel Arteta has actually won since he did take over from us at Cardiff City, but certainly a team that does need to be respected off the back of what they have been doing in the early stages of the Premier League this season. And going into this one, a few more injury concerns as well off the back of the international break. Also some tired players does mean we are going to have to rotate a little bit for this one anyway. But we do have some fringe players out for this one. Yakubu with a bruised knee. Also our young striker Florenzano with some pulled ankle ligaments. But what that does mean is Tomiyasu is back from that injury that he was suffering prior to the international break, so he can make his way back into the team for this one. But we'll come back shortly and run through the team sheets and hopefully stay on top of the Premier League as we travel to Villa Park to take on Aston Villa. And here are the team sheets for the second game of today's episode. There are Aston Villa today. They will be wearing their home uniform. So today we are going to be in the black, with that one being a bit of a kit clash there. We are a few changes. We've got Tomiyasu back at right back, Zinchenko at left back. We've got Kamara in there for Saliba, and also Martinelli is fit to start this one. So hopefully he can make a difference on that left-hand side and we can pick up some more points and stay on top of the Premier League. And only 1 minute into this one, it's an early corner here for Aston Villa. One of the young promising players, and Kelly will take this. He is wanted by Bayern Munich at the moment. Puts that on an absolute plate for Patrick Schick, who apparently had a very good goal scoring record against Arsenal. And that continues into our time in charge here. It is a disastrous start away from home. Patrick Schick gets that one beyond Tomiyasu at the far post. And we go 1-0 down very early. And just shy of the half-hour mark, our next highlight in this game is Serginho Dest there with a throw-in for Aston Villa. To be fair, they do have some quite good players in this team, a bit better looking than what we did take on previously in Manchester United, I think. So it is understandable why they are doing so well early doors this season. But Guehi plays this one up to Xavier. Now Cucurella, Tomiyasu does win that one back. Odegaard heads that one back straight into the path of Patrick Schick. It is some shocking work, and we gift him his second goal of the season. Both of those goals coming in this game. We have turned Patrick Schick on, and this is a bad start for us here. We go 2-0 down, and maybe about to suffer our first loss in this Premier League season. No idea what Odegaard is thinking there, playing that one back into the path of Patrick Schick, who tucks it away. 2-0 down, just past the 30-minute mark. And only a few minutes off the back of that previous goal, it is now a throw-in in Aston Villa's favour. Certainly looks like we're going to be on the back foot early in this one, albeit they are having to play out from the back. Good work there from Parade to get the ball back for us, but then Martinelli with a loose touch does mean that Bogard and Guehi can just consolidate things here for Aston Villa at the back. Now Kelly, some good work there to evade our defenders, and now Cucurella makes his way down that left-hand side, plays that one back to Guehi, but so far, yet to really fire a shot in this game. Now Young gets in behind Zinchenko. Thankfully, good block. Koop Miners sloppy on the ball, and thankfully Kamara takes that one off Schick before he can go searching for his hat-trick. And coming up to the 40-minute mark, we are still 2-0 down, albeit now it is a free kick to Aston Villa. They take that one short. That does seem to be catching us out in this game, and Jean puts that one away. And this could definitely be our first loss in the Premier League this season. 3-0 Aston Villa before half-time. Ramsdale there, beaten at his near post, albeit might have taken a touch from one of our defenders, albeit now down the other end. Hopefully, we can get a goal back here before half-time, and the ball does find the back of the net there through Gabriel Jesus. Bit of a funny highlight, that one just started out of nothing, but was very short, and I think Jesus there was onside, so hopefully this gives us a chance to get back into this one in the second half, and thankfully the goal does stand. The assist was from Tomiyasu, albeit actually looks like Bukayo Saka should get that assist, but Jesus tucks that one away, and hopefully it does mean we go into the sheds only 2 goals down, albeit now a free kick to Aston Villa, but thankfully Guehi does put that one wide, so a lot of action in the latter stages of that first half. But we got off to a dreadful start, conceding from that corner, gave Patrick Schick another goal, and then a bit soft at the near post yet against Aston Villa. Went 3-0 up. Jesus did grab one back for us, but we do need a big comeback in this game. We're obviously going to make some changes at halftime. Some players out there not performing well. Trincao left wing, Vieira will come on for Odegaard. Of course, Trincao coming on for Martinelli, and also probably a good idea to take off Coop Miners on that yellow card for Ugarte. So 3 changes here at halftime, and hopefully that gives these guys a bit of a wake-up call. Not a good first half. We'll get things back underway. Hopefully can get some momentum back off the back of that goal that we did score late in that first half, getting it back underway. 3-1 down. And about 10 minutes into the second half, we'll get our first highlight of it as a throw in our favour, and hopefully we can get this back to a 1-goal game and just make sure that that late goal in the first half was not meaningless. Now Kamara plays this one forward to Ugarte. Nice ball out there for Tomiyasu. His first start back is looking like he's playing decently on that 7.1. Good chance there for Vieira or Jesus. This time does not intercept that one. It just goes wide, and we are still 3-1 down as we do hit the hour mark, and we do have some players out there down to red hearts. We'll take off Saka for Carvalho and also Kamara on a 6.4. We can bring on either Balakotchap or maybe Singo's a better idea, and we can move Tomiyasu to centre-back for the later stages of this one, but still 3-1 down, having used all our subs with a half hour left. And with just over 15 minutes left in this one, it is a throw-in here for Aston Villa right around the halfway line. We have now gone more positive as well. I did do that most recent batch of substitutions, but Shaun here gets in behind our defence yet again. Ramsdale should be saving that from that tight an angle, but we have been very poor today defensively, and that makes it 4-1, and that will probably be all she wrote. Looks like we're going to suffer our first defeat of the Premier League season, and it is a whopper as well. It is Aston Villa putting a hurting on us here away from home. Ramsdale, I still think definitely should be saving that, but that makes it 4-1 with only 17 minutes left in this one. I think now it's time for us to go onto an attacking mentality, as obviously we need to try and get some goals back in this one, but it does look like we're on track for our first domestic defeat this season. And only a few minutes off the back of that previous highlight, now it's a free kick here to Aston Villa, so a good chance here for Young to go after a hat-trick alongside Patrick Schick, of course, who had a chance earlier. Thankfully this time Ramsdale does make a decent save. If only he did something like that earlier. Now it's a corner here for Aston Villa, which Cucurella is going to put into the mixer, but they have been all over us so far in this game. Thankfully Ramsdale does come out and claim that, but only 10 minutes left, and we are still 3 goals down. And we're about to enter injury time in this game. Yet again, it's been a poor performance away from home. Maybe we need to change something about our tactic when we do play away, because to be fair, those previous games away against Newcastle and Tottenham, we have been a bit fortunate to come away with points from those performances, but this time we well and truly get punished for not quite being on our game as we have been at home so far, and that is a bad defeat. 4-1 away at Aston Villa off the back of what was a very comfortable win over Manchester United prior to the international break. Maybe some tiredness creeping in as well with some of those players backing up from some international fixtures, but still, that was a really bad performance, certainly our worst one so far in this season. Even that one against Bayern Munich was not that bad, as we did have a chance to equalise that game late, but that is a big defeat and does mean now there is a chance that Liverpool could jump above us on that Premier League table, albeit thankfully Tottenham have bet Man City 3-0, so they don't catch us up, but Aston Villa jump up to second for now, our first defeat of the Premier League season, 4-1 at Villa Park. And going forward a few clicks off the back of that bad defeat there at Villa Park, and we have indeed dropped down to second with Liverpool picking up a 5-2 win over Leeds later on that match day, but still joint top of the table, but a bad defeat there, and it does mean based on goal differential, Liverpool do go above us, but our first loss domestically so far this season. If we go over and have a look at what we have been doing so far in the Premier League away from home, apart from that Watford game, because to be fair, not as good a team as we have taken on away from home in the other fixtures that we have played recently. But before that, we did take on Newcastle. We beat them 2-1, but in that game, it was pretty even, and we were on the back foot for most of it, so I suppose that one not quite as bad as it does look, especially as we did pick up the 3 points. But off the back of that Tottenham, we certainly were very fortunate to take a lead in that game and to somehow hold it for most of that one. And then in the most recent game, that one against Aston Villa, they were certainly the better team. So I'm just suspecting here that maybe we need to do something a little bit different away from home, as clearly that is where our worst performances have been so far since we have joined Arsenal in this save. Maybe just dropping the defensive line, regrouping a little bit instead of counter-pressing, or maybe even trying one of the other tactical styles, and maybe that's something that we do need to do off the back of that pretty heavy defeat there at Villa Park. And as I said, that's a few times now in a row away from home. We have not played nearly as well as we have when we have been in front of the Emirates. So maybe that's something which is just going to catch us out a little bit with this tiki-taka style. But overall, it has been a good start here at Arsenal. But that might be something that we do need to look at our form away from home. But that will do it for today's episode. Very good win over Man United, despite the fact we missed those 3 penalties during that game, but then a heavy defeat at Villa Park to Aston Villa. If you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. We are going to play a few games off camera before we do come back for tomorrow's episode, because to be fair, there is a decent block here of games I do feel like we should be winning, those ones in between Upperwell and Copenhagen, and we'll come back and take on Chelsea in the Premier League and then Real Sociedad in the Champions League. That could be a good test of potentially some tweaks to a tactic away from home, because Real Sociedad are a decent team, and if we play like we did there against Aston Villa, we are going to get found out. So those could be some interesting games coming up in tomorrow's episode, provided of course we don't get an interesting tie in the 5th round of the EFL Cup. If we do make it that far, which we should, taking on Hull City from League One, but that is the plan for tomorrow's episode. Chelsea in the Premier League, in a London derby, and then Real Sociedad in the Champions League. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.